Liam didn't know this day would change everything. He was just walking through the back alley market, the kind where people sold strange things. Cheap tools, fake tech, mystery boxes, things no one asked too many questions about. Liam wasn't rich. He worked a boring repair job in the city and barely made enough for rent and food. He needed something cheap for dinner. That's when he saw the crate. It was big, metallic. Cold steam was leaking from the edges. It sat next to a half-broken food stall, hidden behind a dirty plastic sheet. A short man stood nearby, wearing a dusty coat and a glass eye that blinked too slow. Liam asked, "What's in the crate?" The man replied, "Frozen meat, alien kind, cheap." Liam frowned. "How cheap?" The vendor looked around, then whispered, 200 credits. "Take it now." That was too cheap. Even mystery meat cost more. But Liam was hungry, and curiosity got the better of him. He checked the crate. No label. No barcode. Just an alien-style biometric lock on the front. "Is it fresh?" Liam asked. "Frozen just yesterday." "Still good." The vendor lied with a grin. Liam gave him the money and dragged the crate to his small apartment. It was heavy, too heavy for just meat. He had to pull it down the hallway with an old hover cart, sweating the whole time. Once inside, he stared at it. This crate felt wrong. The lock had a circular pad, glowing faint blue. Liam hesitated, then placed his hand on it. Click. A soft hiss came out. Cold mist rolled to the floor as the crate lid slowly opened. Inside were not meat packs. Two girls. They looked human, but not quite. Their skin was smooth and pale, with a soft shimmer under the light. Both had long silver hair, tangled and wet. They were curled up in thermal blankets, breathing slowly. One looked younger, maybe late teens. The other seemed older, but still very young. Liam took a step back. What the hell is this? He leaned in. Their bodies had no wounds, no signs of damage. But they weren't awake. He checked their pulse. Alive. They were alive. Liam shut the lid quickly. Panic hit him hard. This wasn't meat. This wasn't food. This was smuggling. These were living alien girls. Maybe clones. Maybe something worse. What had he brought into his home? He started pacing the room. Should he call the police? Report the vendor? No, the vendor was probably long gone already. And if he called the cops, they might think he was the smuggler. He opened the crate again. The older girl's eyes fluttered slightly, then closed again. She looked weak, cold. "I can't leave them like this," he said to himself. Liam carried them, one by one, to his couch. They were light, too light, like their bones were hollow. He wrapped them in extra blankets and turned on the heating unit. Hours passed. He sat nearby, watching them sleep. Questions filled his head. Who were they? Why were they in a meat crate? Who wanted them? Then movement. The younger one's eyes opened. Bright silver eyes. She blinked slowly, her lips dry and cracked. She looked scared. "It's okay," Liam said softly. "You're safe here." She didn't understand the words, but she stared at him, alert, careful. Her eyes scanned the room, then landed on her sister beside her. She crawled closer and touched the older girl's face gently. A small sound came from her throat. A whisper, "Sitha." The older girl woke too. Now both were looking at Liam. He raised his hands. "I don't want to hurt you." The older one sat up slowly. Her body was shaking. She spoke a few fast words in an alien language Liam couldn't understand. But her tone was sharp, protective. The younger one pointed at the door, then to the window. Then, she said two clear words in broken English. "They're coming." Liam's heart skipped a beat. "Who's coming?" he asked. She repeated, "Danger, coming." Outside, the wind howled through the city. But something felt different. A shadow moved across the window. Quiet, slow. Someone or something was watching the apartment. Liam stood and closed the curtains quickly. He looked back at the girls. They were scared, huddled together. The older one now had a glowing line running up her arm. Some kind of implant or tattoo. Liam whispered to himself. What did I bring into my life? But deep inside, he already knew. This wasn't just about meat. This was a warning, and it had already begun. Asterisk, the apartment was silent. Except for the soft humming of the heater. Liam didn't sleep that night. He sat on the edge of a chair, eyes fixed on the two alien girls resting on his couch. They hadn't spoken much, just a few broken words, but the younger one's warning kept echoing. In his head, they're coming. Who were they? Smugglers? Alien hunters? Government agents? He didn't know. But something about those words felt real, urgent. Suddenly, the room grew colder. He stood to check the heater, but then noticed something strange. The walls. Faint glowing lines were spreading across the paint, like veins of light. They moved. In quiet patterns, blinking slowly. What is that? He whispered. He turned to the girls. The older one's arm was glowing again. The markings on her skin pulsed gently, like they were alive. Her fingers twitched, then her eyes opened. Not slowly, fast, wide, bright, sharp, silver. She looked at him. Straight into his soul. No fear, no shock. Just silence. Liam froze. You're awake. She sat up slowly, not breaking eye contact. Her hair fell over her face, but she didn't care. She reached behind her, touched her sister's shoulder, and gave a short whisper. The younger one stirred, then opened her eyes again. Both girls were now fully awake. Aliens, sitting in his living room, and looking at him like they remembered him from somewhere. Liam took a step back. I'm not your enemy, he said softly. I found you, in that crate. I didn't know. I didn't hurt you. No reply. The younger one tilted her head and pointed to the wall, where the lights were still moving. She said something in her language, then looked at Liam again and touched her own chest. Zira, she said. He blinked. Zira? That's your name? She nodded. Then pointed to her sister. Tari. Zira and Tari. Tari didn't speak. She watched him like a hunter studies. Prey not out of fear, but out of caution. Her muscles were tense. She was ready to fight if needed. Liam didn't move. I'm Liam, he said. Zira nodded, slowly repeating it. Liam. He almost smiled, but before he could say more, Tari stood up. She moved to the window like a shadow, quick and quiet. She peeked through the curtain, her eyes scanning the night. Then she whispered something sharp to Zira. Liam felt it. A chill. He grabbed a flashlight and moved to the window beside Tari. Just outside, a black hover car was parked across the street. No lights on, no sound. But it hadn't been there earlier. Tari stepped back, her body stiffened. Her hand reached for something, then stopped. She had no weapon. They're here for you, aren't they? Liam said. Zira looked down, then nodded. They want to take us back. Back where? She didn't answer. Then something even stranger happened. A buzzing filled the room. His TV turned on by itself, then off. His lights flickered. And from the center of the room, floating in the air, a small circle of blue light appeared. Tari raised her arm. The light vanished. Liam stared. What are you? Zira looked sad. Not weapon. Liam was confused. What do you mean? She said it again, slower this time. Not weapon. He understood. They had been taken, sold, shipped like products. But they weren't weapons. They were something else. I believe you, Liam said. Tar, I finally spoke. Her voice was low, cold, and full of warning. More come soon. She pointed to the front door, then made a motion with her hands. Bang. Explode. Liam stepped back. Wait, you're saying they're coming here, now? Zira touched his hand gently. Help. Hide. Outside, across the street, the black car's window rolled down. A small red light blinked on. The black hovercar was gone by morning, but Liam knew it would be back. He hadn't slept, not really. He sat on the floor, back against the wall, holding an old wrench like a weapon. Across the room, the two alien sisters Zira and Tari rested. On the couch, still alert, never fully relaxing. Tari hadn't spoken much after warning him the night before. She didn't trust him, but Zira, she stayed close. She was softer. Her eyes followed him, curious, cautious, but not afraid. Liam finally stood up and said, "I need to understand what's going on." Zira nodded slowly. She reached into the folds of her blanket and pulled out something small. A crystal. It glowed faint blue in her hand. She placed it on the table and tapped it once. A hologram appeared, flickering shapes like a map of stars, spinning fast. Liam leaned in. "Is this your home?" Zira didn't answer with words. Instead, she pointed to two stars, far apart on the map. Then she tapped the space between them. The image zoomed in. A cold black planet appeared, dead, ruined. Liam stared. "What happened?" Zira said only one word. "War." The hologram changed. Ships, explosions, soldiers in metal suits firing strange weapons, then cages. Aliens locked inside, experiments. Scanning. Branding. Zyra tapped her arm. Liam looked closer. Her skin, near the shoulder, had a faded symbol, like a barcode. A mark. They hadn't just been in war, they had been captured. Treated like tools, studied, sold. He swallowed hard. "They turned you into weapons." Zira nodded. I stood up. Her eyes were colder than ever. She walked to the window again, looked out into the early morning streets. Then she turned back and spoke a full sentence, her English sharper than before. "They hunt us, not to kill, to use." Liam felt a chill. "Why Earth?" Zira answered this time. "Hide here." Small world. Weak watchers, no space law. They had escaped, crashed maybe, or smuggled out. And someone was trying to get them back. Liam paced the room. "Okay, let's say I believe you. What happens if they catch you again?" Tari stepped forward. She didn't blink. City burns. The air in the room changed. For a moment, Liam felt something pressure, like gravity had shifted. He looked down. The floor under Tari's feet was cracked. He stared at her. "What are you?" Tari looked at Zira. Then together, they stepped away from each other. Zira raised her hand. A faint light glowed between her fingers. It looked like wind, but it moved wrong. It bent the air. I followed. Her body shimmered, slightly see-through. And for a second, Liam saw what she really was, not just a girl, but energy and skin. They turned it off. Zira's eyes watered. She looked exhausted. Liam spoke quietly. "That's why they want you. You're not just aliens. You're—" He couldn't finish the sentence. Tari did. "Weapons." But then, Zira looked at him. This time, with something else in her face. Not fear. Hope. Double quotes Liam, she said, softly. "You help?" He stared at her. He could run. He could call someone. He could pretend this never happened. But then he remembered their eyes when they woke up. Cold, lost, afraid. And he remembered the man who sold the crate to him, smiling like he knew exactly what was inside. He took a deep breath. "Okay," Liam said. "I'll help." Zira smiled. Tari didn't. But she nodded. Then she walked to the center of the room, sat down, and drew a circle on the floor with her finger. The lights in the apartment dimmed. Symbols appeared, floating in the air, glowing red and gold. Ancient, alien. Words Liam didn't know. Maps, names, faces. I looked at him once, serious. If we stay, they find us. If we run, they chase. Zira touched his arm. But with you, maybe we fight. Outside, high above the clouds. A black ship entered the city airspace. Its scanners were locked onto one apartment, and inside, Earth's only two alien fugitives were preparing to fight back. The city woke up like normal. Streetlights blinked off. People rushed to work. Drones flew overhead delivering breakfast packs. Nothing looked wrong from the outside. But inside Liam's apartment, everything had changed. Zero was sitting cross-legged on the floor, eyes closed, floating 2 inches in the air. Tari stood by the window, watching. Her arms were crossed. Her gaze was sharp. She hadn't slept in Liam. He was building traps. Old tools, scrap tech, wires, motion sensors, anything he could find in his apartment. It wasn't much, but it was all he had. They'll come through the front, he said. Unless they teleport or fly through walls. Tari glanced at him. They don't teleport, she replied. Flat. That was the most she had ever said at once. He blinked. Oh, good. Then he realized she understood him more than she pretended to. Maybe she had been learning fast. Or maybe she always knew. Zira opened her eyes and dropped gently to the floor. She looked brighter now. Like her skin had more color. Her voice was clearer too. I fixed the signal, she said. They can't find us from orbit. But not for long. Orbit? Liam repeated. Wait, they're already here? She nodded. One ship. Small, but strong. It waits above your clouds. Liam rubbed his face. Great. A death ship floating over my apartment. That's normal. Zira tilted her head. You joke a lot. I panic a lot, Liam replied. Tari walked over and dropped something on the table. It looked like a small black coin. When Liam touched it, it lit up and showed a map his building. Every apartment, every hallway, every stair, and there were red dots moving inside it. He stared. Wait, these are hunters, Tari said. Already inside. Liam's blood ran cold. No alarms. No sounds, no police. No warning. He whispered. Zyra explained softly. They wear sound cloaks. They move like shadows. Kill quick. Take quiet. This wasn't a movie. There were no sirens, no flashing lights. This was a silent war, and it had already begun. Tari moved fast. She took one of Liam's chairs and placed it by the front door. Then a broomstick. Then a power cell. In 10 seconds, she made a tripwire bomb. Where did you learn that? Liam asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she looked him in the eye. You still want help us? He didn't hesitate. Yes. Zira smiled again. A real one. She walked up and handed him something, a small metal ring with lights on the inside. What's this? Shield, she said. One time only, use when danger close. Liam put it on. A soft warmth spread up his arm. Then the lights in the building flickered. Tari stepped forward. They're on the floor below. Zira raised her hand. A shimmer spread across the apartment walls, a soft invisible field. No cameras, no scanners. They'll think we're not here, she whispered. Liam looked at both of them. You're not just weapons, he said. You're soldiers. Zira shook her head. We were princesses. That stopped him cold. What? Zira looked away. Before the war. Before the cages, we had a world. A throne. A mother who ruled the stars. And now? Tari answered. Now we survive. A soft knock echoed through the hallway, not loud. Just one. Then silence. Tari grabbed Liam by the arm and pulled him into the back room. Zira followed. The apartment darkened. The front door creaked. Someone was inside. Through a crack, Liam saw it. A black figure. No face, smooth armor. No sound. It moved like a shadow. Scanned the room, walked past the couch, past the window. Almost like it couldn't see anything. Then it paused. It turned its head toward the closet where they were hiding. Liam stopped breathing. Zyra's hand glowed. Tari raised her fist. But then the figure turned away, and walked out. A minute passed. Then 2.tar, I spoke first. Still 5 more outside. Next time they burn the door. Zira nodded. We have 1 night. Then we run. Liam looked at both of them. Then let's make it the longest night of their lives. Above the earth, inside the black ship, a voice spoke in a different language. Target still hidden. But not for long. The hunter smiled. Liam had never fired a weapon in his life. He didn't know how to fight, or lead, or survive a battle. He fixed broken machines and changed fuses for a living. He lived alone. Ate frozen meals, avoided trouble. But now, trouble had moved in, and it brought 2 alien sisters and a death squad behind it. Zira stood at the center of his living room, hands glowing with light and strange symbols floating around her. She was creating some kind of protection field. He didn't know how it worked, only that it kept the hunters out. For now .tar I was different. She didn't make walls. She made weapons with wires, screws, and Liam's old fan motor she built. 3 small drones, overnight floating balls with sharp tips and red sensors. She wasn't just protecting herself anymore. She was building traps. Preparing for war. Liam stood in the kitchen, staring at a frying pan in his hand. It was all he had. He tossed it aside and picked up a pipe instead. Looks more serious, he muttered. Zira walked over to him and held out a black object. It was a glove, lined with small silver nodes. What is it? He asked. Punch this into Hunter, she said. Hunter's sleep, he blinked. It knocks them out? Zira smiled. Maybe. He stared at the glove. Great. They all knew the plan couldn't last. The field Zira created would break soon. The hunters weren't just soldiers. They were trained, and worse, they were patient. Tari spoke, voice sharp and focused. 1 hour left, then they strike. Liam looked at her. You've seen them do this before? Tari nodded. Many times, other cities, other planets, same plan. No survivors. Liam felt the fear rising again, but he didn't let it take over. He looked at Zira and Tari, 2 sisters, strong, powerful, hunted. They weren't asking him to be a hero. They were just hoping he wouldn't run away. I'm not leaving. Liam said. Zira's smile this time was different. Warmer. Then the lights in the building died. Everything turned black. The field around the apartment flickered. Once. Twice. And then it collapsed. Zira fell to her knees, breathing heavy. She looked weak. Too fast. They drained it. Tari moved immediately. They're here. The first explosion hit the hallway. The wall cracked open, and a hunter stepped through the dust, tall, armored, no face, holding a weapon that looked like fire and ice mixed together. Liam didn't think. He threw the pipe. Missed. The hunter raised its weapon, but before it could fire, one of Tari's drones shot forward and stabbed it in the throat. The hunter dropped. Dead or unconscious. Liam didn't ask. More boots echoed down the hall. Tari grabbed Liam's arm. To the back room. Trap them there. He ran. They entered the bedroom, and Tari locked the door. Liam peeked through a side window, another hunter climbing the fire. Escape. Zira raised her hand, focused hard, and fired a blast of wind that shattered the glass and knocked the hunter off the edge. Liam turned to her, eyes wide. You just... Zira's nose bled. She was shaking. I can't do more, she said. Too much energy. Liam helped her sit down, then stood up straight and picked up the glove. Then I'll do it. The door exploded open. Smoke filled the room. A hunter entered, gun raised. Liam ran straight at it and punched the glove into its chest. Flash. The hunter convulsed and dropped to the floor. Liam stood over it, chest pounding. Holy, it worked. Tari threw him a second glove. 2 more coming, Zira whispered, voice weak but proud. Now you fight. Minutes later, the apartment was a wreck. The living room burned. The hallway was filled with smoke and broken machines. But the last hunter had fallen, chest sparking, body still. Tari stood over it, breathing hard. Zira leaned against the wall, eyes half closed. And Liam? Liam was on the floor, arms shaking, staring at his glove. It was over. For now, Zira looked at him, her voice soft and steady. "You're not like other humans." Liam gave a tired laugh. "I didn't ask for this." Tari walked over, wiped blood from her lip, and said something no one expected. "But you stayed." Above the clouds, the ship received a message. Unit lost. Resistance stronger than expected. Send Phase 2. Far away in space something much worse began moving toward Earth. And Liam had just become part of a war he didn't even know existed. Asterisk rain fell over the city. Slow, heavy, quiet. From the rooftop of Liam's building, it looked peaceful. Lights below, cars, people, like nothing had changed, but everything had. Inside Liam's ruined apartment, the walls were cracked, the windows shattered, and the floor was covered in ash and machine parts. It looked like a war zone, because it was. Zyra lay curled under a heat blanket. Her body was weak. Her skin, once glowing, now pale and dim. Tari sat beside her, holding a sharp metal piece like a blade. She hadn't spoken in hours. She just stared at the broken door, waiting. Liam stood at the edge of the room, looking out the window. Something in the air felt wrong. It was too calm. Then the sky split, not with light, not with thunder, but with sound. A low, deep hum shook the ground. Dishes rattled, power lines sparked, pigeons scattered. Then it came into view. A massive black ship. Not small like the one before. This was big enough to cover several blocks. Floating, silent, smooth and circular, with a ring of red lights pulsing underneath it. Liam's voice cracked. "Tell me that's not what I think it is." Tari stood. "That is Phase 2. Zyra tried to speak. "They send the gatherers now." Liam turned to her. "Gatherers? They don't ask. They don't chase, they take." As if to prove her words, several large shapes dropped from the ship, black pods falling like meteors. They hit the city with no explosions, just hard thuds. One landed 2 blocks away, another on the rooftop. Liam grabbed his last glove weapon. Tari handed him a shock pistol she made from parts of a hunter. "No more hiding," she said. "Now we strike first." The rooftop pod hissed open. A large figure stepped out. This one wasn't a hunter. It was twice as big. Bulk armor, red glowing lines across its body. Its head looked more like a helmet or a skull. It scanned the area, spotted them. And charged. Liam and Tari moved fast. He fired the shock pistol. It barely slowed the thing down. It jumped through the wall like paper. Zyra raised her hand, but her energy flickered. She couldn't hold it. Liam screamed, "Get down!" The invader fired a pulse blast, blew the couch into ashes. Tari attacked from behind, stabbing her blade into its back. Sparks flew. The thing turned, grabbed her, and threw her through the window. Liam ran. He had 1 charge left in the glove. He jumped over the fallen table, aimed, and slammed his fist into the invader's chest. Boom. A white flash lit the room. Silence followed. Then the body fell. Hard. Liam dropped to his knees, breathing like he'd run 100 miles. "Where's Tari?" A groan came from outside. He ran to the window. Tari was on the fire escape, coughing, bruised but alive. He helped her up. Zyra stumbled to the door. And then they heard it. Not 1 ship. Not 2, but dozens. Above the clouds, ships were arriving. More red lights. More pods falling. All across the city. Zyra leaned on the doorframe. "We are not the only ones they want." Liam looked at her, shocked. "What do you mean?" She pointed to the sky. "Earth has something they lost long ago." "Freedom," Tari added. "Now they want to take it." like they took hours. Liam stepped outside and saw the chaos beginning. Sirens, black figures running in the streets, people screaming, fires lighting the sky. This wasn't about two sisters anymore. This was about Earth. And he was right in the middle of it. Then we fight, Liam said. Zira smiled weakly. Together? He nodded. Together. In space, aboard the mothership, a voice echoed in an alien language. Begin population control. Begin collection. But in the shadows, another voice spoke. One human interferes. Eliminate him. Liam's face appeared on the screen, and the next hunter opened its eyes. The sky burned red. Ships hovered over cities like storm clouds. Sirens howled. Explosions cracked through the air. The invasion had begun, and Earth was losing fast. In the middle of it all, Liam ran through smoke and fire, leading two alien sisters down the ruined street. Zira could barely walk. Her power had nearly vanished. Her skin was pale again, and the glow in her eyes had faded. Tari moved beside them, guarding every step with sharp focus and clenched fists. She had stopped talking. She didn't need to. Her action said enough. They reached the entrance to the old subway tunnels, dark, cold, and mostly abandoned. It was their last chance to escape the scanners overhead. Liam guided them inside. He had memorized the map. Down there, hidden under the city, was an old emergency launch bay, once used by smugglers, now forgotten. But Zira's ship, damaged, half dead, was still there. Waiting. Almost there, Liam said. Breathing hard, Zira collapsed to her knees. Ri knelt beside her. She can't go farther. Liam looked back. Hunters were coming. He could hear them, silent steps, mechanical breathing, glowing eyes moving in the shadows. Zira looked up at him with tired, sad eyes. You saved us once. Don't die now. He shook his head. I'm not leaving you. But Tari stood. You must. What? She handed him a small crystal glowing green. This activates the ship. Only works with your signal now. She made it yours. Liam stared at the crystal. Zira gave him a weak smile. You fought with heart, with choice, not orders. That is why we trust you. Tari added softly. That's why you lead. But Liam shook his head. No, not a leader. I'm just a guy who bought the wrong crate. Zira reached up and touched his chest. No, Liam, you bought freedom. Suddenly, a blast ripped through the wall behind them. Hunters, 5 of them. Tar. I stepped between them and the sisters. Go, she said. I'll hold them. Liam grabbed her arm. You won't survive. She didn't answer. She just smiled. And pushed him. Go. Liam picked up Zira and ran down the tunnel, past the broken doors, toward the old launch pad. He didn't look back. He couldn't. They reached the ship. It was small, scratched, and old, but still working. Zira leaned against the wall, fading fast. Get in, she whispered. Liam opened the cockpit. She looked at him one last time. You brought us home, even if it's not yours. He didn't know what to say. So he held her hand, then placed the crystal into the control panel. The ship lit up. Engines hummed. Power returned. Zira took the second seat, closed her eyes, and whispered, "Thank you." As the ship lifted off, the tunnel behind them shook. Explosions. A flash of white. Tari single quotes as final stand. And silence. The ship shot through the underground, launch shaft bursting out into the sky like a comet. Above the clouds. Above the ships. Beyond the reach of war. Liam looked back at Earth. His city. His world. Burning. But not lost. Not yet. Zira opened her eyes. They'll follow us. Liam tightened his grip on the controls. Then let them. She smiled. And then, softly, almost like a whisper, "Welcome to the fight, Liam." Epilogue aboard the enemy mothership. Silence filled the war room. One of the generals watched the screen. The ship had escaped. The two sisters were gone. and the human was still alive. The general turned to his officers. This world resists, as others have. But one thing is different. He pointed to the screen. They have him now. A blurry image of Liam appeared, holding the crystal dot, smiling. The war was not over. But the galaxy just gained a new weapon, and he didn't even know it.